power, and sex. That's what this case is about. It didn't matter what obstacles she had to remove to get what she wanted. If it was a person, it didn't matter who. All I want is money, power, and I think I'm money, power. All I want is money, power, and I think I'm
Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
They got the bitch.
Well, hello everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm just trying this little thing back here. Donna's probably like, "What?" The other day I learned how to do some the graphics while they were live. I was steadily uploading things in the background. It was fun. Let me turn this thing off. Let me stop looping it. Allegedly. Okay. Okay. Hey, hey, hey. I was coming back from the portal, right? How's it going? Yeah, buddy. That's the statement of the year. Yes. There go the lights. Here we go. Um, let me finish my cigarette here. I have one puff. So I'm glad to see you guys here. Glad you made it. I had to take an extra shower today because I feel gross from researching this freaking case. It's like all these cases, they're so gross. I get it, KJ. I get it. Gaslighting, it's a trend. It's a trend. And the like-minded behaviors is real, y'all. I'm telling you. I've been saying that they project, deflect, reject. They do everything. But that is the main thing is the projection. They're walking projectors. We all are. But more we're not studying us. But we do have to include ourselves in human behavior, right? And no, I'm not a professional. Uh, I'm just here. Uh, and I mean, in this case, I have the choice. It's different. So, and it also, I guess why I'm so passionate about it is because it indirectly ties in with Lori, Tylee, I'm sorry, Tylee, Tammy, Charles, JJ, and Joe. And just, it's like birds of a feather flock together. That is something that has been prevalent. That is something that uh, shows itself more and more, actually. And kind of wish it would stop. I don't want to be right. You don't want to be right. We don't want to be right. We just want things to be right. We want these kids to be okay. We want all children, not just ours. Um, all children. They don't have the they don't have those cues. They're living with a mother like Ruby who just dumps on them. Everything that she's unhappy about, she puts on her kids. And it's so disgusting and sad. It's really sad because, nobody's going to want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you, do what you want with it. Hurt people. And this seems to be the case. Also with Lori, somebody hurt Lori. Lori hurt her kids, and it's like that with Ruby. Ruby's not happy because of probably neglect or whatever in her own childhood and an environment. And so it just is generational and it just is gross. And so you got to break the chain somewhere. Sometimes it takes people going to jail for doing really bad things that they don't think are bad. That's the bad part. You're like, whoa, how did we get here? How? You have a new friend, Kevin A. Hinkley. Hinkley? Like Hinkley? From Texas. He is I don't know, licensed, certified, I don't know all those acronyms, and went on a tirade accusing me of multiple illnesses and gaslight. He is a Mormon and now has sleep issues. Well, again, projection, I mean, it's one thing, we all have narcissism in us. I mean, it's the selfish part of us, where we're just, all we can do is kind of tell you from how we feel from the inside, from our point of view. But licensed clinical social worker. Okay. Thank you. I suck at acronyms. I really do. Um, hmm. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yes, prayers your way, sister. Oh, I did too, like October of 2019 actually. Yeah. But it was fine. Just know that. Don't worry. I was worried. Like I didn't even tell my mom because the kids, everything. My Uncle Charles just got murdered. It was October 2019. Tammy might have still been alive. And I went and had a compressor, the mammogram thing, and it came back fine. I was like, okay. But at least, we got to remember to do our exams. Self-care, right? Self-care. So that's good. She's on top of things. Let's look at the positives here. I'm gonna have to go turn the damn air conditioner off. It's sucking all the damn juice. Swear. One day, things will be much better. Now it's really quiet. Now what? Now I'm going to talk because I don't like the quiet. I think so. How many in here think what Olive Heatley thinks? I do. Totally. And that's the projection you see, in my opinion, from Jodi onto everyone, her victims. She's mad because her belief system doesn't allow her to be herself. And so she's just very passive aggressive, and she projects it onto her victims, and they're going to pay for her being hurt. It all goes back to that. This is a scary part to me. This is where I'm perplexed, and I'm like, this just doesn't sound right. And I'm gonna read his comment first because I didn't even finish it. But Mormons and mental health with access to lawyers can spin any victim into a perp and cast great doubt. They have a protocol, a checklist, and assist in cover-ups. Totally, 100%. And so it's disturbing, when I was listening to Adam Steed's interview the other night, and I was like, oh my God, holy hell. Then Jessie, Jodi's niece, came out with hers on Mormon Stories podcast. And I was like, oh my God, this is not good for the church at all. You got to be quicker than that. If you're going to be sneaky, you got to be sneaky all the way. Don't be half-assing no shit, because it will catch up to you. Straight up. The darkness will come to light. Maybe not so much in the beginning or during Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe's justice, but it will. It will catch up to you. That is called karma. God don't sleep. And that's just the way I feel. But you do dirt, you get dirt. You do shady shit, it will come back to you. Okay? And you can only run so much. And it just seems like there's a lot of sketchiness going on. Character. If I look at the church as a whole, it's not looking too good as far as like that image, that projected image that you're trying to put out there and onto all your people, and look at what's happening to them. They're all just like short circuiting or something. I don't know what's going on, but I feel bad for the victims and the ones that we don't know about, the ones we haven't heard about because they've been silenced or murdered, red rummed, whatever. It is what it is, and stop. It's not us, I already had one prepared, for anybody that's like, oh, you're just doing this because of the church. I don't give a shit about that church. I don't give a shit about any church. There you go. Okay. But this one's on my radar. I didn't go knock on its door. It came and knocked on mine. Literally. I've got my Jesus card and Jesus didn't bring it. That's all I'm saying. And again, in my backyard. It was in Chad's backyard, not mine. So my thing is that, no, I'm not trying to take your church down. If your church is doing good and being Christ-like and doing good things and has integrity, you have nothing to worry about then, do you? That's my comeback for that. Tylee, she didn't have anybody. Her church did not stand up for her. Her church hasn't even mentioned her name. JJ, his church didn't stand up for him. Hasn't mentioned his name. Um, unless down the line, it may come out where it's some self-serving comment, or maybe they want to. I could picture them, and I had heard this a long time ago. Don't know if there's any validity to it because I was just, it made me like, I short circuited because I'd heard, and again, I don't know the truth of this, but that the BYU campus or something in Idaho was gonna like donate a bench or something with their names on it, and I was like, I'm about to nut up. I don't think so. It's probably a tax write off or something. It's not to benefit the victims. It's not to honor them. It's definitely self serving. Trust me. So if that's true, please let me know so I can take legal whatever. It makes my head spin. No, they never stand with the victims, and that's another thing. That's the other thing that you see, and it's like, so if they don't stand for the victims or stand up for them and help put a stop to this with their own people, their own members, then you're allowing it, and that's a whole just the whole, if you're not saying anything, that's saying a lot. Without saying anything, Jesse had said that too the other night, and I was like, yes. I really just, her interview just captivated me big time. Um, she was humble doing it. She was brave for doing what she did, for speaking out, speaking up, and for people listening. That's the best. That's the best thing. And it was like humanity for a moment, just a glimpse into humanity, the love, what it's supposed to be like, your brother's keeper, not just in your religion or in your neighborhood or your actual neighbor. This is mankind. This is your fellow man, or woman, you know. But no, they should not. And it's scary because there's a thin line between church and state over in that area, and more of a blurred line actually. And I mean, that's scary on itself. Then you have the wealth, then you have the power, the influence. You can make anything go away. You can. They do. It happens. Look at Scientology, look at the Catholic Church, the corrupt. I don't like corruption. It turns out I really did not know until all this happened. And it turns out that I'm really anti-corruption. It makes I don't know. It's like my body reacts to it, and it pisses me off because these victims, they don't have a dog in the hunt at all. They have nothing, not even their parents, because their parents are like, "Well, I believe the church is true." They don't believe their kids are true, or that are telling them about the abuse. No, they believe in a freaking building, the temple. All right, I'm gonna stop. Not really. I'm probably not gonna stop. You were raised Roman Catholic. All organized religion is the same. Me too. Same here. Just never adhered to a church, and then going through this process, learning about the Mormon church. I'm like, well, if they're like this, they're all like this, and you start to think, and you're like, yeah, I just never had to research those, but I mean, I see them in my peripheral all the time. They're not doing anything that's, I mean, some more than others, but again, it's not a pissing contest either. It's just like, it's all crappy, and just holding people under bondage or whatever, and just making them feel, or maybe they just don't know any better, that they don't have to have anybody stand between them and their relationship with God. Like, no, okay, there's no middleman. There's no, you got to pay your toll here. Um, that's deception, and people buy into it. I mean, I just was blind to it. I just didn't know any different, any better. I didn't know. So it's just, to me, that's gross, because there's so many things that those dollars could go to, there's so many people that are homeless, guys. I mean, it's and then people blame them for being homeless. And I mean, maybe so, but I'll be damned, you know? But let's give the predators a ride, you know? It doesn't make any sense in my mind. Like, okay, forgive the sinner and then just here, brother, so and so, here, do this to all our kids. Here you go. Here's my kids. No. I mean, oh, then you're like, which one's worse? The parent who's like accepting the behavior of the bad person, you know, the predator, or the fact that your institution is allowing it to happen, or that the parents, you know, it's just such a those kids, oh my God, they don't stand a chance. Tax the churches. I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Um, I know, I saw that too. Maria Lemony, right? Suing the Church of Scientology. Maybe that'll make way to sue the LDS too. Maybe so. You know, it wouldn't be to it wouldn't be to get rich or to pad my pocket. It would be to prove a point. I'm a Taurus. You know that. I've got more time than money. I don't, and I'm perfectly fine without it. Like I don't need it, you know. It's nice. It makes the world go around, but I don't have to have it. So I can do I can do this. I just don't want to die. That's all. Now would be a good time to mention I've been importing your channel to my platform, offkilter.tv, as we discussed briefly. I'll send you an email with logins, and you and your mods can log in. Thank you, Robbie. I'm going to learn more about that. This is Robbie. It's just Robbie, and he told me about this before. He sent me a link a long time ago, and I kind of like looked in it, but I don't have much time. Orbit, so I didn't really. It looks like a Hulu or something. I don't know. He'll have to explain it to me and the mods. So we appreciate that though. It's definitely worth looking into. And if you're into it, then it's got to be something cool. So appreciate that. Um, Donna says we'll check on that. Amy in Boston. How you doing, Amy in Boston? Yeah. Okay, so this is what all ties in together, right? And so we're researching, right? This is all what we do. And so we're all on different levels, you know, in our research and everything. That's how I look at it. Or I tried earlier. I was like, you know, because there's some people that want to know about this part, and there's some people that just want you know, the mainstream, I guess, stuff, the and I don't do that here, you know. That's not me. Um, I just like to talk about these things, especially with y'all. I mean, that's where it's at. If you ever want to know something about anything, go to the comment section, read comments. I have learned so many things from everybody's different perspectives on things. And I mean, it's just never ending. It's always evolving, and everybody has a different perspective, a different view, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Um, there's enough divisiveness in this world, and I don't like that. I don't like silencing people. You know, unless they're really, really, really abrasive and rude, then you know, you got really. um But everybody just is, for the most part, really respectful here, and I really do appreciate that. I have a great community. This is a good community that's built up on tragedy, of course, and it's from one to the next, right? Good, Leanne. Glad you're here. Um, but it's just, I mean, just the whole child exploitation thing was it was puzzling me for a while. You know, but then this case came out and I was like, oh, see, this is why I've just not done it. I've had a live stream before with my daughter, and then afterwards I was like, oh my God, you dummy. You know, like you just exploited your daughter. And then that's out there. It's out there forever, you know. And it wasn't like what and I'm not no, let me not don't take it as I'm justifying it. I'm just saying like it was just too it wasn't to follow her around with a camera, so to speak, but it's not saying I'm any less culpable, you know? We all have a responsibility, I think, and I have 2 bonus sons that, I mean, they grieve the loss of Tylee and JJ and how it's changed our family dynamics, and they grieve also. And there are times when I watch my 7-year-old, and he'll just kinda go into the hallway and he'll just be looking at his phone and he'll just start crying because it's about either one of my live streams, right? And I'm like, "Oh god." Um, and it's us talking about the kids and everything, and, it gets to him. And I wish that there was a way that I could allow them to come on without being exploitative or without thinking that there's some nut job doing bad things to their video. You know what I'm saying? Like, it bothers me. And they're not my kids, like, I didn't birth them, so there's, like, an extra level of protection, if that makes any sense. It's bad enough that, like, you know, there's a video, the one that, of Larry and JJ on the bus. Well, Silas is in there too. Netflix picked that up. When they tried giving me a strike one day, and I didn't have nothing. I was nothing that was in their damn documentary. And they tried striking me, and I was like, I wrote them a whole damn letter. I was like, and I didn't even realize who it goes to, but I was like, no, 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 no. I was like, first off, they have my video in there of my bonus son and my nephew and my dad in their documentary on the bus. That's mine. Nobody asked me shit. So that went away. Just know that it did go away. They didn't pursue any further. But that's bull crap. So many different sides of this. There really is. As far as like being a member of the family, a family member of a victim, and copyright issues, and I'm not competing with freaking Dateline. Dateline uses my family as their story, you know. But then you can also look at it as a tool where it gets the information out. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a tool, and there's got to be better ways to work around this. So hey, little brands, how you doing? Oh my God, right? The damn distortion. When Charles and Lori was parenting, was there any red flags? Do you have any insight on this? Not really. I really didn't have. I wasn't really around them. You know. I don't. The only thing I noticed that was different was that Uncle Charles and JJ were coming into town a lot more, and I didn't question it because I'm not intrusive. I was just like, something's going on. I remember thinking that, but I didn't. I just didn't question it. I enjoyed it though. I took advantage of it. And I do remember hindsight though, like my Uncle Charles telling me the day that JJ met Todd, and there's a picture of them two together at my mom Trahan's house. And I mean, it was really cool. It was a good meeting. I really loved observing my brother, and I loved observing JJ, together and just watching how their mannerisms were. But on the way out of my grandmother's house, my Uncle Charles turned, and he just kind of out of nowhere was just like, Lori, she just needs to be needed. And I mean, okay, whatever. We all do. I want to be needed. Um, but yeah, now that bothers me, because it's like, I don't know, something's going. They need to go to work. The Mormon ladies need to go to work, and not hustle. You know, the whole blogging thing. I think that is a product of, and I mean, not, it doesn't have to be a bad one. It just depends on where you go with it. Um, mm, Again, I wasn't around really, so I really don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. I really don't. Mom and Larry, Ashlyn would be able to tell you that too. I really don't remember a lot of that. Just a few, she colored my hair one time, and she was a love bomber. I know that much, but um, it's as far as their personalities, like I can see that. My boyfriend at the time, actually, this is funny. because I mean, I always thought he was crazy, but it takes one to know one, I guess, because whenever he met Lori, which is back in December of 2012, we had a we had a Vallow Christmas party and slash New Year's, a bonfire. We had a bonfire, right? And uh, his nickname was BB, but anyways, he was like, "That bitch is crazy." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "That bitch is crazy." I didn't know. I was just like, "He's crazy," you know? And then, years later, I'm like, "Oh my god, he was right." He was right. So, again, like I said, it takes one to know one, 'cause he was fâché too. He was crazy too. But definitely in their personalities, they're a lot alike, and that's this whole like-minded people, like-minded behavior thing that they've got going on. It's a trend. It's there's a few examples. Let me go pull that up. Let me go pull that up. Make sure. Do 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 do. Let me know where y'all are at. Also, while I pull this up slowly, obviously. Okay, I thought I made a presentation out of it. I did. I did. I did. I did. Okay. Let me go back here. Let me share. Let me share my screen. Sharing means caring. KJ, they remind me of Lori and Chad big time. Me too. Jodi and Chad and Ruby and Lori, right? You don't recall her as an overly punitive parent? It seemed like she was more passive, if anything. She kind of dumped it off onto Tylee. And then Tylee, I say dumped it off, but I mean, Tylee also gravitated to JJ. JJ gravitated to Tylee. That's how it was with me and my brother. It's not that my mom put him on me. It's just that we just gravitated to each other too. Oh, Canada. All right. Good. Missouri, Kentucky, Mississippi, Tennessee, Durham. Oh, England. Hello. My daughter's half British, so yeah, her dad lost his accent before. Let's see, he came to the States when he was 4. He lost it by the time he was 8. Anyways, my ex-mother-in-law, when we were just dating, me and Aaron, we weren't dating. Me and my ex-mother-in-law were never dating. But anyways, Salt Lake City. Oh, you in the thick of it. I gotta check my email to see if you ever did contact me. SL Connolly. Ah, just I've been researching ever since, right? But my ex-mother-in-law, she had left a message on my answering machine, not like, a real one. And she was like, "Aaron, you forgot your specs." And I was like, "Oh my god." I used to have to watch their lips all the time. I'm like, "What are they saying?" They talk so fast, so different. Great personalities, great humor. Love their humor. I love it. I love the puns and they kind of you know, uh talk a little more um oh hell, I can't think of the word. Just more dirty. I guess you could say. I don't really know the right word right now. Ah, sorry.
Mommy guilt.
Okay, that just came on right when I pushed that button, so it scared me. Phew, y'all saw my face, so that was embarrassing enough. And I didn't even mean to push this one, but okay, here we are. You know, let's see. Let me stop that. Let me try this again. There, okay, not that one. That one's a trap. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So, all right. Let me close this. Okay. 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 I sound like a broken record. So I just looked up a few terms, right? Um, and like just to kind of help help me, when I just say persecution complex, you're like, not everybody understands. So what is an example of persecution complex? It because this reminds me of Melanie Gibb, everybody around Lori, and including Lori and Chad. I mean, all of them, just the whole group. Jason Mao. Think about Jason Mao when he went to, do his interview with Chandler Detectives. Just well, I'm not gonna use the present. Well, I guess I could. Let me do that. Present, and then I think I gotta change. Nope. Okay. So persecution complex, also known as the victim mentality, is a state of mind in which an individual perceives themselves as a victim of unjust treatment, often without any objective evidence to support this belief. An example of persecution complex is when someone believes that others are constantly talking negatively about them behind their back. I wonder why. You got Melanie Gibb right there. Even though there is no factual basis for this belief. This can lead to feelings of paranoia, anxiety, and isolation, as well as damaging relationships with others who may feel unfairly accused, right? And it's important to recognize these signs of persecution complex in oneself or others and seek help if necessary. And I'm going to put in there, seek help outside of your religious circle. Okay. Because we all need diversity as far as like that, and objectivity. We need those things. We don't need yes men. Okay. We don't need somebody of like mind saying, oh, you're not doing anything wrong. I mean, that's scary. Actually, I didn't really think about it till all this stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, that can be so toxic, right? So as this mindset can have a significant impact on mental health and well-being. I mean, if you do not seek out things like that, then you're cheating yourself too. Really. I mean, because really, you're not getting the growth. You're not having, again, the objectivity and I like having the lines of defense. I like people telling me no. It really it really challenges me. And sometimes a little too much, but that's okay. But anyways, this is, I found this guy through through this story, right? So I'm not going to sit here and go, find he's done it well enough. All these channels that have been following these family vloggers and everything, they've worked years on this, so I just want to credit them for the good work that they've done. Job well done, right? And so now there's just different teaching mechanisms that we can use. And like, I'm using this to show you the victim slash persecution complex that goes on. It is crazy, but this is the best example that I have found. So this is the Dad Challenge podcast. He's from Canada, and I actually was like, Jason, I think I found my spirit animal. This dude, he says effing just like me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not find him sooner? Right? I say spirit animal, but you know what I mean. But you'll see. This is just a good example. 29. Wait, I thought I had it set up. I did have it set up. And then it lied to me. So let's back that ass up. Oh my gosh, it's way back here.
She definitely has favorites. We talked about her daughter, Sherry, who said she doesn't want to be on YouTube anymore, but she's going to be on YouTube. I don't know. They had enough of it. But basically, this family is just a big gong show. And we know it. Don't lie. So we're going to open up the one video there. There's a couple that kind of came out. So there's this 8 passengers car crash. So there's this 10-minute video like right before school where they clearly have no idea, okay, how to set an aperture on an automatic camera. And don't forget, look at Sherry. She's got one of those Canon G7Xs ready to go to school with her. They vlog at school. Okay, so this family is all into it. Okay, so I'm not going to show the whole video because it's 10 minutes long, but basically she's driving her kids to school, and I haven't even seen this. I've only seen the part where she gets out. But she's driving and vlogging, which is stupid, in their like $50,000, $60,000 van because they have such a giant family, because clearly his pullout game was weak. But they're driving, and she's doing this. But I want to show you from an editing standpoint what happens here, because she wasn't filming when this accident happened. The most disgusting thing about what you're going to watch here today is how excited she gets when something tragic happens. Okay, watch this.
The pictures and keeping everyone on track.
Okay, you're hearing this tire squealing, rocks, all this stuff happening. Okay, this is an edit she put in there. It was.
Oh, do I echo like whenever I leave my mic open? Just want to know. Oh, I was like, am I even muted on this one? Anyways, and so this reminds me of Melanie Gibb. You know how excited she looks whenever she's talking to Nate Eaton, when she's talking to Keith Morrison. You think about those times when her eye, she's just like, it's like she loves the drama, right? So that's just something that I'm like, you can see Melanie Gibb in this. You can see, well, obviously Ruby in this. So okay, let me know if it echoes or whatever whenever I push play.
Wasn't there.
Like right now.
She didn't swerve. There was nothing going on. They edited that sound in there, which is absolutely effing disgusting. Okay, because watch what happens next. They had to put that in there because the camera wasn't on when what just happened. Watch. Okay. That's all put in there fake. None of those sounds were in there. They put that in there.
Is everyone okay?
Okay, so she turns, the first thing she does, there's an accident on the highway. She pulls over.
Thank you.
And she turns the camera on. That is Ruby Frank's #1 priority. Not that if her kids are okay, because what happens first in the sequence? Camera's on.
Yep.
Then she asks her kids. You tell me what you think is her priority here.
Oh my gosh, are we hit? Are we hit?
She knows she's not hit, first of all.
Are they okay? Are they okay?
Awesome. I love him.
Are
He's
you
hilarious.
okay?
First of all, stop you there. I hope this kid comes out in public and tells us exactly what happened, because Sherry just because Ruby just pulls over here. She might have seen it. It might have happened around her, but nothing happened to her. But she inserts herself right into the middle of this.
Amen.
Like she's the victim.
Don't they all?
And she didn't call the police first. Here's the sequence of events. She picks up the camera, turns it on. Then she asks her kids if they're okay. Then she gets out to ask this guy, okay. First thing you do is you call the police in an accident. Does none of the things. She's just putting this guy on camera. And I know he's in public and you're allowed to do that, but I hope she got his permission. I hope she got this other guy's permission. He was just in an accident. And I don't think she got their permission to put.
And so it's very intrusive too, right? So my bonus son, he has a little Polaroid camera, and you know, it's so cute because he's like, hey guys, he like pretends like he's on YouTube, right? So I can't knock him too much because it's what I do now. But you know, and sometimes I'm like, look, Bubba, you know, just don't, you just, you know, ask somebody when you're going to film them, let them know, don't just film them. That's very disrespectful. I think that I think that. And like, I remember being a kid, and so my mom will probably kill me for this, but I was like 10 and I got a boom box or whatever for Christmas. And so one night she was snoring, and so I recorded her. And then when we had a house full of guests, I didn't do it to be mean. I just did it because I thought it was funny. But anyway, so whenever we had a full room of visitors, I played my mom snoring through my boom box. That was rude, right? Now I see that. When I was a kid, I did not. So I mean, it's just trying to teach kids their boundaries. And she's not a kid. She has kids. She's in her 40s. Okay. So here we go. Here we are.
Them in their vlog. And I hope this person comes forward.
You're okay? I'm okay.
You're fine. Nothing happened to you and your shitty ass logo on your van. Just leave your kids in the van on the highway. Whatever. Look at her. She's filming her. Like, guys, you got to see what I'm seeing here. She's filming herself. This is so dramatic. She knows she's going to get massive hits on this video. This is going to be an insane boost in subscribers. This is going to be a ton of money. I want to know how many friggin' let's see how many views she got on this video.
Yeah, he does go and check this out.
Car crash in the first. This was 2 years ago. This happened. 6.2 million views. If I go into their freaking 8 passengers little wormhole here and go to the videos and sort by most popular, I bet you that's gonna be in the top 10.
It is. It's like number 10.
Right there.
I don't want to spend
Number-
too much on his
Number 10. It's rated. It's number 10. 6.2 million views. Okay. So while she's filming this, are you there to help people or are you there to capture this for your content? This is why Ruby Frank is one of the most disgusting, not just family vloggers, but people that exists.
I like his stance on Mormonism too. I gotta say it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to write him.
That they would use someone else's accident, probably life-threatening accident, for their own content. I hope she gets sued.
At all.
Okay.
Look how dramatic, man.
Yeah, they're all okay. You're the only one freaking out here. These guys are like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Just an accident. We're all safe.
Exactly.
She's one freaking out because she needs to add that dramatic thing to the video, right? She has to add that.
Yep.
This tire blew. It looks like the tire blew.
It's like she doesn't go out much.
And I was I right?
Is this guy not wondering, why are you carrying a camera, weird lady with ugly lipstick? What is going on here? Is he not wondering? Does she pay him? I don't know. If that was me, I'd be like, lady, why do you have a camera on? This is like...
Hey, and I know there's some people in the chat who are from Salt Lake City. When I was there visiting, y'all are some very passive aggressive drivers. I was like, oh my God, Jen, this is crazy. Her and Michelle were both like, they were both one in the passenger seat, one in the driver's seat, and they were both bitching at the drivers. And so I think all the drivers bitch at each other, and then it's kind of funny. It is kind of funny. You're like, okay. And Robbie, you seem like you would be too. Just, just saying. I can be. I'm more hang back now because I'm old. I'm in no hurry. So it's just a change of age. That's all. With wisdom.
Are you okay?
I don't even remember what happened.
She doesn't even know what happened. She just saw the accident, pulled over, got her camera out and said, did we get hit? You obviously didn't get hit, dumbass. You would have known if you were hit. I'm upset because she's using other people's tragedy for her own gains.
Tragedy pimp, right? And so that's what this is. And I've tried telling you guys so many different times, and I just didn't have the right words. So I was like, okay, I'm going to show them an example, and I'm going to look up the words. We're going to do the things, right? And so this is what I mean. And it's just mainly in the Mormonism circle, whether they're ex or however, whatever degree they are in the church or out of the church. It just seems to be a thing. It's like they take one's tragedy or sad story, whether it be I've seen people go up to the pulpit, and they bear their testimony, and then the other person starts crying, and then they tell the person's story, and it becomes their story. It's like they hijack the person's story, and then they become the victim. And so that is it's just something I noticed a long time ago, and I'm just like, what is that? What is it? And I'm not saying it's just in Mormonism. I'm sure it's in other places. This is just where I tend to hang out. So here we are.
Do you guys see how disgusting this is? How family vloggers will stop at nothing to get content to fill their pockets full of money.
To exploit. But this is again, my opinion. And it comes from a religion that exploits people's spiritual beliefs and Jesus Christ, and I think that's really, to me, it's gross. To me, it's ballsy. But to them, they were raised up in this environment, in this community, in this culture, and they don't see anything wrong with it. Do you see how that could be a slippery slope for people like Ruby, who just don't, and her sisters and her brother, who all vlog, her parents, everybody vlogs. And it all comes from journalism, I think. And then whenever it turned into the internet age, it went into journalism online, which is blogging. Then it went into vlogging, which is video logging, like video journaling. And I think that's how that transpired. So
it's not even her kids. Obviously the whole video is about her kids, but she is literally exploiting other people's misery and accidents, everything else for her own gain.
Are they okay? Everyone's okay. Russell, it's okay.
We have 4 kids.
Wait to hear what she's about to say right here.
What happened? It's okay.
Oh my God.
Everyone's safe. It's okay.
You guys involved in the accident?
Don't lie to them.
I
Right?
was driving and it looked like the blue car.
A simple
I
note.
heard something. So I'm thinking the tire exploded, and I just was right behind him, and I was gonna rear end him, so I just veered.
So no, you were not involved in the accident at all.
Right.
She just thought she's talking to a police officer here, and she can't lie because she's a Mormon. Hopefully, but she lies anyway.
Well,
But she's
there's a whole thing called lying for the Lord.
like, no, I was not involved, but I'm filming it.
I don't think so. Like I
You didn't.
looked around and it doesn't look like.
Yeah.
Unbelievable how selfish this woman is.
The guy in front of me, whose
Tragedy
tire
pimp.
the guy who's now behind me, his tire blew, but he was in front of me. And the red truck was going, I don't know where the red truck was, but it had to veer in front and get off so it didn't hit me. I don't know. I didn't see the red truck. I just know that the blue car
So you didn't see shit, is what you're telling me.
had a tire blow, and I had to get out of its way.
He hits the sign.
Word
He took
salad.
the sign out. Russell.
He's crying, first of all.
This was my first car.
This kid is like, I want to point out something. This kid is having a what irks me so much is Russell, I think his name is literally bawling his eyes out. He is scared for his life. He is so distraught right now.
Because mommy is so dramatic
And she can think of nothing
all the time. This is just this one day, this one morning.
but filming this. Can think of, she doesn't console him. There's no hugs. There's no like, we're going to be okay. It's all good. Nobody's hurt. She doesn't do any of that stuff. He's just there broken. This kid is broken. It breaks my heart because of my little dude, who's the same age as this guy, was like this. It would break my effing heart.
And this was 2 years ago. So this is well before all this exploded.
She doesn't give a shit.
And you know what? I want to tell you something, and I want you to really listen.
Oh my.
We should
This is bad. This is bad.
have been in that crash.
What the are you thinking when you just said that to your children?
It gets worse.
Specifically, this little kid who is having a meltdown, who is very scared. You just told your kids we should have been in that crash. Why would you say that? What the F is wrong with you? First of all, she changed the camera angle. She started here, then she did this
True.
so you can see her face.
That's where
You guys have to see all the other things, the peripherals around this insanity, so that you can see how bad it actually is. It's not just like one roll.
yeah, if you really think about it, she's like really trying, you know, like, oh my God. We'll get this next part though is bad.
She's cutting, she turned the camera on, she's in the accident. Like, this is the most disgusting thing I've seen here yet. Most disgusting thing I've seen that Ruby do.
I don't know how we avoided getting hit, but you know what? There is not a single scratch on our car. There is not one person who got whiplash. And do you know why?
Here it is.
Why?
Because we said our prayers this morning.
You've got to be effing kidding me right now. I have not seen this. I cannot believe she just said that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is coming from a guy who is an ex-pastor, okay, who still believes in Jesus. I cannot believe she just said that.
Right.
Now, there's a few reasons that makes what she just said there absolutely disgustingly ugly, okay? First, she took this moment of atrocity and her kids are scared to say, hey, look, if you don't say your prayers, this could happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
She's forcing this
This is the fear mongering. I just realized this is part of the fear mongering thing.
religious, and don't forget they're Mormons. And you know how I feel about Mormons. It's bullshit, okay? Not only do they believe in craziness, but they do this to their kids. They indoctrinate their kids beyond anything. Their Mormon kids likely won't ever even hang out with normal kids.
And Robbie can testify to that. You know, I've heard stories from him, and it's terrible.
They only hang out with their Mormons. But for her saying that to me, specific, and I come from this world, from this Christian world. I would never say that to my children. Hey, do you know why we didn't just die right now? Because we said our prayers this morning. Do you know how disgusting that is that she just said that? Again, from someone who believes. Don't ever, ever tell that to your children. Because what happens then if a kid does say his prayers? Okay? And then he gets hurt or she gets hurt. What are you going to, Mom, I said my prayers. Why did I get hurt?
Mm-hmm.
How disgusting.
And that's a conditional thing. And that's something else that's not good. And so that's all there is like this conditional love. And they have to earn it, and they have to earn their way into heaven, and they have to earn their way through everything. And so it's bad to me. Like, it's just toxic.
Of you and theologically unsound you are. And your freaking husband teaches at a Christian Mormon university. How disgusting. 2, you don't do this. You don't ever say something like that, because why would you scare them even more than they're already scared? Why do you need to evoke more emotion out of them and put the camera up your nostrils like that? This is, I'm upset right now. I'm so angry.
And we tried our best to do what Heavenly Father
Look at this kid.
to do.
Right.
What did you do? What did you do that the Heavenly Father you wanted you to do? What did Joseph Smith tell you to do there? All you did was pull over because you saw an accident and get your camera out. And look at this kid.
Right.
The reason I'm showing you their faces is because you need to see this.
It's
okay.
terrible.
This is of all the things that Ruby does that I can consider child abuse, and there's a bunch. This is one of the most disgusting psychological abuses I've ever seen of children on this YouTube platform. This kid is like broken. He is broken, and she just keeps egging him on and egging him on and saying things like that. Holy shit, people, you should all be so upset with this. You should go like, let's say it.
And you know what? Nobody's hurt. And I know it's because the Lord is watching out for our family and for others.
And again, don't forget, everybody, during this whole thing when she's having this heart-to-heart with her children, this is on her face.
Right.
The camera is on her face the whole time. She is not doing this for anybody but for herself and the YouTube algorithm and money, 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 money. The reason these people are so predatory as well is because they come across innocent. They come across, oh, we're 8 passengers. We wear frocks and shit. We don't, we don't party and all that stuff. We give COVID to neighbors, but they come across as innocent, and that's why they're more dangerous.
I think
at least when it comes to people like Piper Raquel, LeBrant's, and all these other people like Daniel Cohen, at least they're like forefront that they don't give a shit that they're exploiting the kids. They're more dangerous because they look innocent, and on the outside it looks it. But you have to understand, when there's cameras being touched and put in place in your face and when she's talking, it's all fake. And it's all for this. And that kid is destroyed right now.
And we're okay. And we're going to get to school. Mom. Okay. You're not going right now. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I know, it was a little like, Chad's like, can we just skip school? I would have.
I mean, scooch forward.
I mean, 50 grand off this video.
Grand off this video.
A statement for the police.
Dear police, here's what I saw. I saw a tire, and then I pulled over and I got my camera out. Does the police not ask why you're filming this? Ruby?
Right behind this ride.
Were they part of the accident as well?
No, I think they stopped later. I know the red truck was involved, but I don't remember knowing how. You guys, I am like calm.
What the hell?
I'm shaking.
Why is she crying?
So weird. It's like, this is not even. I mean, I've seen accidents. I've gotten shaken up, but I mean, not to the, I don't know. Can you imagine this on a daily basis? This being your mother, and she overreacts to everything. I mean, that's what, and so and this is in the public, and so I can't, we've seen what can come from outside of public view, and it's horrific, right? It's horrific how that little boy, ran to the neighbor's house, and how the neighbor said that they've had trouble with this neighbor before. What in the actual hell? She don't have any kids. What other kind of trouble can Jodi be in? Or what kind of trouble? Oh my God. So, let's see.
She wasn't in the accidents, nothing. She's been there for an hour at this point. This is all fake right now. This is fake.
Tragedy.
And then hopefully meet the kids up at the school and explain what happened.
There's one
Honey,
last
are
thing.
you okay? I thought you went with your brothers and sisters. I didn't know you were.
She straight up left her kid.
She's out on the highway. Her kid's going to get a ride, and she leaves her little girl in the car on the highway. Doesn't even know her child is in the van. What else do you guys need to see? I mean, for real. Why did these people have fans? You know who their fans are? They're other Mormons who only watch Mormon content.
Okay, let me scooch to 2953, which is just not really the persecution complex, but
that's 101, especially during COVID.
Kids are so quiet. What am I gonna? And so, like, part of me is really fearful that, like, I'm not gonna have any content because my content is all going to school. And
There it is. There it is. That's all her kids are.
And so, like, part of me is really fearful that, like, I'm not going to have any content because my content is all going to school. And so,
not my kids are going to school. I'm going to miss them. It's my content, right? Oh my God. It's nuts. So I asked, what can cause persecution complex? And it answered, it said persecution complex, also known as paranoid personality disorder, is a mental health condition characterized by a pervasive distrust and suspiciousness of others, including the belief that they are that they are out to harm, exploit, or deceive the individual. I mean, I can see that in Lori and Ruby and Melanie Gibb, all of them. It is not entirely clear what causes persecution complex, but a combination of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors may contribute to its development. And so this is a cultural thing because Joseph Smith, it's a whole what Joseph Smith did, and I've learned this through the many years of research, right? But mainly from the exmormonfoundation.org channel on YouTube. It's a playlist called Lying for the Lord. And I mean, because you have to go back in the history books to know who Joseph Smith was, what his character was like. And so that's what he did. He would blame the victim. He would, if a girl who was 14 didn't want to marry him, he like did the whole character assassination thing, which is very, 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 you see that in a lot of this. They're gonna destroy you, right? And so Jodi has said that about her ex-husband. I heard that through Jessie, her niece's mouth. She was like, she wanted to destroy him financially, legally, religiously, in the church, everything. Look at Lori, destroy. It does mean murder. It can mean murder. So just, I don't want these cultural differences to cost another life. But anyways, some research suggests that a history of childhood trauma or abuse, particularly emotional abuse or neglect, may increase the risk of developing paranoid personality disorder. Other environmental factors that may play a role include a lack of social support, chronic stress, and substance abuse. So, genetic factors may also contribute to the development of paranoia and persecution complex. Studies have shown that individuals with a family history of mental illness, including schizophrenia, may be more likely to develop paranoid personality traits. Finally, psychological factors such as low self-esteem, feelings of inadequacy, and a tendency to blame others for one's problems may also contribute to the development of persecution complex. It is important to note that while these factors may increase the risk of developing paranoid personality disorder, not everyone who experiences them will develop the condition. And again, I'm not a professional. Seek out professional help. What is an example of it was supposed to say parental. Anyways, parent fat shaming their child. And so some of these fat shaming is a form of bullying that aims to make people feel ashamed of their bodies and to discriminate against them based on their weight. Unfortunately, this type of behavior can often come from someone who is supposed to love and support you unconditionally, such as a parent. Unfortunately, that's where it comes from. An example of parent fat shaming their child could be a mother who constantly comments on her daughter's weight, calls her names like fat or piggy, and makes negative comparisons between her and other children who are slimmer. This kind of behavior can have serious negative effects on a child's self-esteem, body image, and mental health, and can lead to lifelong struggles with weight and body acceptance. It's important for parents to be mindful of the impact their words and actions can have on their children and to strive to create a supportive and loving environment where their child feels valued and accepted for who they are, regardless of their size or shape, right? And what's an example of parent guilt tripping their child? Parent guilt tripping is when a parent manipulates their child into feeling guilty for something they did or did not do. And it says an example of parent guilt tripping is when a parent says, quote, "After all the sacrifices I've made for you, this is how you repay me," unquote, when their child refuses to do something the parent wants them to do, like babysit JJ. Oh. This statement makes the child feel guilty for not complying with their parents' request, and it implies that the child owes their parents something for the sacrifices that they have made. This type of guilt tripping can be emotionally manipulative and can damage the relationship between a parent and a child. It is important for parents to communicate their expectations clearly without resorting to guilt tripping. And okay, this is important because this is something that, yeah, that's all throughout this case, in all these cases, because it's in the Mormon culture. What is an example of double speaking? Double speak is a language that is intended to deceive or confuse people by using deliberately ambiguous or obscure language. It often involves the use of euphemisms, jargon, or other forms of language that are intended to obscure or disguise the true meaning of what is being said. That is all the time. One example of doublespeak is the use of the term, quote, "enhanced interrogation techniques, unquote, instead of torture." Okay. And it says this term was used by the U.S. government to describe the harsh interrogation methods used on detainees in the War on Terror. The use of the term enhanced interrogation techniques made it sound less severe and less morally objectionable than the term torture, which is widely recognized as a violation of human rights when they water them down. So this is an example of how doublespeak can be used to manipulate language and shape public opinion. Sorry, tongue-tied. And so what are more examples of doublespeak in religious circles? Doublespeak is a deceptive language that distorts. Oh, there we go. Distort. I found it. It's Jodi's distortions right here. Distorts or reverses the meaning of words. In religious circles, doublespeak is often used to justify beliefs or behaviors that may be problematic. One example of religious doublespeak is the use of, drumroll, quote, "love the sinner, hate the sin." This phrase is often used to express disapproval of someone's behavior while appearing to show compassion for the person. However, it can be interpreted as a way of justifying discrimination or prejudice against individuals based on their actions. Another example of religious doublespeak is the use of, quote, "pro-life" to describe opposition to abortion. I'm going to get demonetized. While this term implies a commitment to protecting life, it can also be seen as a way of restricting women's reproductive freedom and denying them access to health care. Finally, the use of, quote, "religious freedom" to justify discrimination against marginalized groups such as LGBTQ individuals or religious minorities is another example of doublespeak in religious circles. While this term suggests commitment to protecting religious beliefs, it can also be seen as a way of justifying bigotry and hate. And I'm going to skip this next part because, folie à deux, right? That's the madness of two. Folie à deux, also known as shared psychosis, is a rare psychiatric disorder characterized by the transmission of delusional ideas from one individual, the primary or inducer, to another, the secondary. The term folie à deux translates to a madness shared by two. In this condition, the secondary individual comes to believe in the delusions of the primary individual, even though they have no real basis in reality. Folie à deux typically occurs in close relationships, such as between family members or intimate partners. The primary individual may have a pre-existing delusional disorder, schizophrenia, or other mental illness that predisposes them to develop delusions, which are then transmitted to the secondary individual. The secondary individual may not have any history of mental illnesses before the onset of shared psychosis. Symptoms of folie à deux can include paranoia, delusions, hallucinations, and other symptoms of psychosis. Treatment typically involves antipsychotic medication and psychotherapy for both individuals outside of your religious circles. I'm just adding that. In some cases, hospitalization may be necessary to endure the safety of both individuals and others around them. Right? It ain't all about you. Victim, okay. I just pulled up some examples. Victim shaming or blaming happens when people hold the victim of a crime or injustice. This happened with Jodi and Ruby, and projecting it onto those kids that they said were dark and evil. I'm pretty much, we just haven't heard the details of that yet. We already know we're bracing for impact. I am. Anyways, the victim of a crime or injustice responsible for what happened to them. This behavior is harmful, insensitive, and unjust because it fails to hold the true perpetrator accountable. Here are some examples of victim shaming. Blaming an SA assault victim for what they were wearing or how they were behaving. Telling a victim of domestic abuse that they must have done something to provoke the abuser. Criticizing a person for not being able to defend themselves against a bully or attacker. Suggesting that a victim of theft or robbery was careless and therefore deserved to be robbed. Oh my God. Blaming a person for being a victim of a natural disaster or any other type of crisis, stating that they should have done something to prevent it. I've heard this before, actually. We shouldn't live here because there's hurricanes. It's just like with the wildfires. You shouldn't live there because there's wildfires. You shouldn't live there because there's typhoons or whatever. It's so ignorant. It is. It really is. Just saying. It is important to remember that no one deserves to be a victim of a crime or injustice, and all victims deserve empathy, support, and justice. What is parental manipulation? It's all these crazy winches, right? Parental manipulation is a form of emotional abuse in which a parent tries to control their child's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors through deceptive or coercive tactics. Here we go. It can take many forms, such as gaslighting, guilt tripping, or withholding affection. I can see that as Lori, withholding affection. We saw how she withholds like her silent. She does silent treatment, which is a form of abuse. But anyways, and you can see that in Ruby and Jodi too. Just in what we've heard so far. I imagine there's more victims. Hopefully they come forward. Okay, without affection, it can have serious long-term effects on a child's mental health and well-being. One common example of parental manipulation is when a parent tries to turn their child against the other parent. This is parental alienation, often by making false accusations or portraying the other parent as cruel or uncaring. Joe? Yeah. This can be especially damaging in cases of divorce or separation, where the child may feel torn between their loyalty to each parent. Other forms of parental manipulation may include constantly criticizing or belittling the child, making them feel guilty for expressing their own thoughts and feelings. I've experienced this. Just saying. Or even using physical violence or threats to control their behavior. It is important for parents to be aware of the signs of parental manipulation and to seek help if they suspect that they or their child are being affected by it. Therapy and counseling outside of one's religious network, in my opinion, can be effective in helping both parents and children to heal from the emotional scars of manipulation and to rebuild healthy relationships based on mutual respect and trust. Now I'm gonna skip some. Okay, now this thing right here is gross. Okay, he's a problem. He was a therapist for the Mormon Church. He's the one that this is David Hamblin. David Hamblin was a licensed therapist and was also a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. During the times he allegedly committed SA against multiple victims and while serving higher callings in the church. Coincidence? I think not, but I am entitled to my own personal opinion. I'm ballsier whenever I write, huh? Oh, okay. Well, I can't fix that now. I can't fix her face anyways. Hers either. I guess these are just the way these landed. So, what the hell? Let me get out of here so I can fix this and get rid of these obstacles. And so this is all goes back to the woman arrested in Utah County for SA case, 70-year-old Roselle Stevenson, related to case of ex-husband David Hamblin. Incident happened back in 94. They just arrested her back, late August. All right. Double. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I did that wrong. Detach. These cases are part of an ongoing investigation of abuse of children that occurred in Utah, Juab, and San Pete counties in the 80s and 90s. But there are some newer cases. And some of you guys have been reading. What the hell? I want it to come off. Anyways. I can't get it to get out. It should. Anyways, it's not letting me. We'll move on. I guess it's being a pain in the ass, right? Oh, done. There. Shit. Okay, that's all right. I'm about to get out of here. These are Ruby and Jodi's whatever papers. Okay, so this is this will be let me see something real quick. Let me try and okay. Here we go. Did y'all hear the part in what transpired Friday from the court hearing was that Jodi, was saying that something about her attorney filed a whatever. Her attorney filed a thank you, KJ. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, David Levitt is also under investigation. Yes. So are quite a few people around. That's what I'm saying. It's like the house of cards is coming down. It's taken so long, and it makes me just really, really, really appreciate the fact that Adam Steed came forward and Jesse Hildebrandt came forward. I really think that's the beginning of their end, of the perpetrator's ends, and the church has got to stop allowing these people, whether they allow it, whether they would be nice if they would draw a line in the sand and say, no, stop your shit. So they don't do that. It makes me think that they're okay with it. So that's where I'm at. Thank you, Liza Joe. I think it's Liza. Thank you so much, KJ. That means a lot to me. It really does. I appreciate it. Goes right back into this. Paying them bills. Thank you though. So I forgot what I was saying. I say all kinds of things all the time. So it was about Jodi and her saying that her mental health, right? Or something happened with her health. And I'm just looking to see if I have it in here. Well, obviously, I don't have anything organized because I don't roll like that. Obviously. Okay. Well, we're at the end of that. Let me go to a couple of these because there were some, from Jesse's interview with Mormon Stories podcast. Let's see if it says it in here for the mental health, whatever the hell.
Well, at one point, one of the lawyers outside the court told everyone that even the judge was having a hard time signing on to the online hearing with as many as 1,200 observers. Some people even showed up in person to see the latest in a case that had both captivated and concerned them.
Can y'all hear? Is it echoing?
It was like my whole childhood. So I thought it was crazy.
On a quiet day outside 5th District Court, it was anything but inside.
I grew up watching the 8 Passengers channel, and so when I saw all this happening, I got super intrigued.
Complete strangers showed to see the initial appearances of 8 Passengers influencer Ruby Franke and mental health counselor Jodi Hildebrand,
She looks
both
scared
charged
as
with
hell.
6 counts of aggravated child abuse.
And also, I'm interested in looking into criminal psychology, so I wanted to come to a case I was interested in.
It seemed a lot of people had the same idea. So many logged on to the online hearing, it clogged up the system.
Because of the interest in these hearings today from the public and members of the
Thank you,
media,
Kristen.
we've had some technical difficulties.
Nearly 40 minutes after the scheduled start time,
Ms. Franke, can you hear me?
Yes.
Franke and Hildebrand made their separate appearances to face their charges for the first time. Both women are being held without bail, and a hearing was scheduled to address that matter.
She's aware of the
She's
charges,
scared as
she's
shit.
aware of the elements, she's aware of the potential penalties.
When I was a kid, I just thought they were the coolest family, and I'd watch them all day, every day, whenever I had free time.
Given the influencer's popularity in particular,
and money,
observers say the ordeal has left them stunned as the world watches.
With how popular they were and how much it's been blowing up over social media, I can understand why. But it's just crazy that it's gotten this big.
Yeah.
Well, that hearing about the bail issue was set for September 21st, but it sounds like at least one of the lawyers has a potential conflict. So we'll have to see how that shakes out over the next couple of weeks. Again, both women being held without bail here in Washington County.
That's
Andrew
it.
Adams, KSL 5 News.
KSL 5
Thanks for watching.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lester Holt. Right. All right, let me go back to this. And then I went to the wrong place. Obviously. How do I get out of here? I'll go back. Okay. All right, let me find the next one. I don't know. It doesn't say the whole thing, so I don't know what this says.
A Utah YouTuber accused of child abuse will go before a judge on Friday,
Very low.
despite a different judge warning of some substantial danger if she is released.
Talk up.
She could be let out of jail this week.
Oh, hell.
KUTV's Jake Taylor with our 2 News Investigates team is looking into this and joins us live in studio. Jake.
Yes, as of today, Ruby Franke has been in the Washington County Jail for the past week. There appears to be now some disagreement in the courts of just how dangerous she is or isn't. Once a YouTube star, now Ruby Franke and her business partner Jodi Hildebrandt, seen in a video referenced in court documents, are each charged with 6 counts of aggravated second-degree felony child abuse, more than the 2 counts they were first arrested for, and more counts could be coming.
There were 2 additional children that were removed from the home.
She's just been making her rounds. She done commented on Lori and Chad's cases, all the Mormon ones for sure. That's hell. Corey Richens, that's her attorney.
That had yet to be interviewed. So this could potentially be a case where we see an amended information alleging more counts.
Local defense attorney Sky Lazaro, who's not involved in this case, gives us some insight on suspects being held without bail.
I don't think that is
It tells me everything I need to know. Because that's David Hamblin with no bail. That's Rosie Stevenson, his ex-wife with no bail. These 2 hookers, no bail. Lori Daybell had bail. That tells you everything right there. You know? I mean, think about that. Is it because did the cops already know that the kids were, in Lori and Chad's case, that the kids were dead already? Or what was their motive? And then you look at Brandon and Melanie and you're like, how in the hell does she have her kids? Okay. There's something wrong.
Unusual given the severity of what they're alleging.
Police say 1 week ago, 2 of Franke's children were found malnourished and with deep cuts from being tied up. That day, a judge ordered Franke and Hildebrandt held without bail, writing there's clear and convincing evidence that Ruby Franke would constitute a substantial danger or is likely to flee the jurisdiction if released. But I've accessed the court safety assessment, which grades someone's risk and if they should be released. It comes to a different conclusion, saying she's a fairly low risk and recommending her release before trial, just being required to check in once a month by phone.
What about her safety from the public? That's all I'm saying. Oh, that girl better go underground. Better find you one of them tunnels, girl.
Could go either way.
Franke's initial appearance in this case is set for Friday. As part of that, Her attorney could ask for the new judge to grant her bail.
This is rather old.
This case is in Washington County, but Ruby Frank's home is in Springville, and this week neighbors there told NBC News they've been trying to get authorities involved for more than a year.
Have they? I mean, because then I'm going to ask, because I'm asking because of how Ruby's sister, that whole self-preservation type thing, I'm just pointing out the obvious. That, again, is one of those like-minded behavior patterns that I've seen throughout the people in this culture, of this belief system. And it's just alarming to me because everybody waits till the end, till the kids are found buried in the backyard, or even till after their sister is convicted, to say something or to come out and be vocal, and then not to say much at all to add to that or to gain insight. You know, it is all about the image, in my opinion. And I don't know. I don't know what the value of pointing this out is, but besides just, you know, noticing where things could be different culturally, you know, and so there's this whole society because Mormonism outside of Utah and Idaho, outside of the Mormondor, is so different compared to the Mormondor, you know, and I find it interesting. It's intriguing as hell to me. Because it's like the sign slap you in the damn face, you know, it's crazy. But let me look the next one. Okay, let's look at this one.
Case against former YouTuber Ruby Franke and her business partner Jodi Hildebrandt, both charged with aggravated child abuse.
Hildebrandt is a licensed clinical mental health counselor in Utah, and the KSL investigators have been digging into the status of her license. KSL investigator Daniela Rivera joins us from the newsroom now with what we've learned. Daniela?
Mike and Ashley, Jodi Hildebrandt could be granted pretrial release as early as tomorrow. We've been speaking with Utah's Division of Professional Licensing, and they confirm her license is active, but Doppel does not want her counseling people.
No.
A spokesperson told me today that Doppel has been trying to take appropriate action on Hildebrandt's license since the news of her arrest broke. And they're now also working with the Attorney General's office for an emergency proceeding. Typically, Doppel responds to complaints, but I'm told this action is not complaint driven. Doppel believes immediate action is appropriate due to the heinous nature of the charges against Hildebrandt. Now, generally, in a situation like this, Doppel would seek to have the person willingly surrender their license. It's unclear whether that will happen in this case. As far as emergency proceedings go, I asked, what does that timeline look like? I'm told it's just as soon as they can convene a meeting of the licensing board, a meeting that could be open to the public. We'll continue to follow this and report back with updates. Mike.
Thank you. Okay, so can you imagine her like having her damn license and then no, that woman should never get. Look, this is what you do. You read the comments. As a licensed therapist, this is horrendous. Remove her license now. There you go. You know, you don't have to even go far. She did awful things to her own niece, allegedly. Someone needs to investigate her clients, and any missing children there may be connected to her therapy practice. I'm gonna like that comment. That's from a doctor. That last name, I can't say it. Just keep her in jail and there would be no opportunity to harm anyone else. She's a monster. Not like she used it anyways. Oh, that's true. That's why she was doing life coaching. But she was using the credentials, right? It's so nuts. It's so bizarre. So, and so what I had found, you know, what we all heard, if you went and listened to those interviews with Jodi and hold on, I'm closing out some windows here, and let's see, share this tab instead. With Jodi, I'm sorry, with Jesse, their names really get me. I don't know if it's because the Ruby, the U and the O, Jodi, and then Jesse. It's like a lot of new names that. So okay, let me go to this. Okay, and so this was what Adam Steed had shared the other night on Hidden True Crime, which I have their link in the description box below, as well as Mormon Stories podcast. And anyways, he said that there's a JODIHildebrand.com, and then he said something about his dad. And so I took it as maybe his dad did this website. So thank you, Adam's dad, for doing this, So license on probation. Jodi Nan Hildebrandt had her license put on probation by the Utah Clinical Mental Health Counselor Licensing Board for 18 months, effective January 25th, 2012. This was back in the day. Below is detailed information on the probation situation and resolution. And then it's got the original article archived in Salt Lake Tribune. Do we want to go look at that? I'm sure y'all have all read it. I'm just going to say P. Therapist disciplined for telling church BYU about man. I would say about member, really. Ethics counselor on P addiction, who also talked to BYU, violated state law. They're above the law, right? This is their mentality, in my opinion. I'm not saying that again. That therapist has been reprimanded by the state for discussing a patient without his permission with his LDS church leaders and Brigham Young University. All of the claims made by Jodi Nan Hildebrandt were false. This reminds me of Brandon Boudreaux and how he won a $12 million defamation lawsuit against Melanie's attorneys, who were saying all those slanderous things, right? And then called him dumb, basically. Whether he gets paid or not, that's a whole nother story. But, at least he did hold them accountable. Anyways, it says all of the claims made by her were false, the man asserts, but they led to his loss of privileges in the church and his ejection from BYU. He lost all kinds of things. I feel so bad for him. I really do. That dude he was a whistleblower for the Boy Scouts of America, all the SA claims and stuff, and so I really feel like he was targeted, in my opinion. I feel like they sicked Jodi on him. I know it would have, you ask yourself, you're like, well, what is the end game? What would be their purpose? A lot of money. They value money. Okay. Not much else. Just my opinion. But, she just lied. It says, quote, she just lied wherever she went to further an agenda to destroy my life, unquote, said the man who objected to bills that were as high as $2,000 a month. And that was back in 2012. Quote, we came there for marriage counseling and she pulled us into her P marathon, unquote. Seems like she likes to label people. Hildebrandt, a professional counselor, is on probation for 18 months and must meet 22 conditions or she could lose her license. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said Wednesday that Hildebrandt is no longer, she's still a member though, she's no longer on LDS Family Services referral list due to the case. Not due to anything she did wrong. Due to the case. I picked that up earlier. I was like, She is the director of Lifestar Utah County, a franchisee of a national company based in Utah that specializes in P and S addiction. Okay, which is no such thing. Excessive use of P is not recognized as a disorder by the American Psychiatric Association. The conditions on Hildebrandt's license include working under a supervisor approved by the Utah Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing. The supervisor will sit in on videotape or audio tape at least one clinical session a month. Well, don't hurt yourself. And review 20% of her patient files. I'm sure it's going to be the best. The ones that are, according to a January order of the Department of Professional Licensing, right? DOPL. The supervisor will also instruct her on issues related to confidentiality. She didn't learn a damn thing, I'll tell you that. Confidentiality, boundaries, and relationships. She may also need to undergo a psychological evaluation. Would love to see it. And complete treatment if necessary. But I can't see it because it's HIPAA, right? And I don't need to violate people's rights. Some people feel like they have that right. And that's why we're here. Hildebrandt did not return a phone call or email message. In the Department of Professional Licensing order, she agreed that her actions violated state law and the American Counseling Association's Code of Ethics. That's shocking to me. They usually don't. She probably had to. Hildebrandt's lawyer, I thought this was interesting. Look at that name right there. Robert Harrison. It makes me think I'm gonna go Google it real quick. Tom Harrison, right? Let's put attorney, Utah. I don't know. Let's see. Let me share this tab instead. Utah medical and regulatory attorney Robert Harrison. Robert R. Harrison, clinical assistant professor. Probably not Chicago, but I just wonder if he's related to Tom Harrison, right? Let me just click on one of these. That's one way to know. I don't know. I don't know how to tell. Do they look alike? Hospitals and healthcare. Okay, well, anyways, we'll take a look at this on our off time. But I just think it's interesting. That's what I do. So it's so ironic that that Jodi's business name is Connections, because that's what I do. I make connections every day. I'm looking back for that article. Okay, here we go. Hildebrandt's lawyer, Robert Harrison, said in an email that her license is, quote, active and her practice has and will continue without interruption. To me, that's smug. And this is back in 2012, so this is not breaking news or anything. But do you see? That's so smug to me. That's like not saying, hey, she's learning from her mistakes. Oh my God. And, she'll come back better than ever or something. I don't know. She's sorry for whatever, violating that man's rights. None of that. You'll never get that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. In 2008, Hildebrandt provided therapy to a married couple identified by the Department of Professional Licensing only as John and Jane Doe, who later divorced. This is Adam's deed. John Doe agreed to an interview but asked not to be identified because he fears repercussions from the therapist. That's because she is a terrorist. Okay. She's a tyrant. He has subsequently been told that he can return to study at BYU if he chooses. Would you? Honestly, would you? And he is currently a member of the church. Between 2008 and 2010, Hildebrandt repeatedly discussed the couple with their LDS clergy and other mental health therapists without having signed authorization. The DOPL order said. In 2009, she talked about John Doe to the Honor Code office at BYU. And now, when you hear Adam's story, it's so bad. She's bad, allegedly, in my opinion. She spent, in those conversations, Doe said she accused him of having serious problems, but never actually diagnosed him or spent enough time with him to do so. Quote, she spent hardly any time knowing about my life, unquote. He said, quote, she didn't want to talk about my personal goals or my progress. She would only threaten me that if I didn't take more sessions and have my wife take more sessions, the alleged addiction would destroy my life, unquote. There you go. There's your keyword right there, destroy. In addition, while Hildebrandt was providing therapy to Jane Doe, she allowed the woman to work in her clinic without documenting whether she had given the patient information about the benefits or risk of blurring their therapeutic dual relationship, right? In an interview, John Doe said that the couple had been referred to LifeStar for marriage counseling by their LDS bishop, whose brother co-founded the Murray-based National LifeStar Network, right? So we're going to copy that. We're going to Google this up real quick. Y'all can come look with me. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. They open in other tabs. All right. MPI number lookup. I don't even know what this is. This is like all their stuff, I guess. It's a community behavioral health provider in Murray, Utah. The NPI number for LifeStar Salt Lake City is this 152-830-6446. The current location address is right here. A private or public agency, usually under local government jurisdiction, responsible for assuring the delivery of community-based mental health, scary, intellectual disabilities, substance abuse, and or behavioral health services to individuals with those disabilities. Services may range from companion care, respite, transportation, community integration, crisis intervention and stabilization, supported employment, day support, pre-vocational services, residential support, therapeutic and supportive consultation, environmental modifications, cutting out all the normal, and intensive in-home therapy and day treatment, in addition to traditional mental health and behavioral treatment. That just freaks me out. Right. It freaks me out. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Let me just grab this link and I'll go post it into the chat. And that way you can research on our off time. Okay, there's that. Here I am. You have to work. I'll have to finish. Whoa, where'd it go? Where'd you go, girl? Well, I say girl. I don't know. I have to get to work. I'll have to finish. Oh my gosh. I'll have to finish this later. Good to have you. Great. I'm glad you were here. And thanks for becoming a member. Yay. Pretty soon. Hopefully I can get this on track one day. Allegedly one day. Right? Where we can have some perks and what the hell? Yeah, that was my phone way over there. She said, which app do you want to open? What? Holy. 1 moment. No, 1 moment. My ass. What is that? Actually. Still working. Where? What you working on? Do y'all hear that? Oh, that's my tablet. Please try again. Well, good. Thing's possessed. Okay, sorry. That's a lot of paperwork there. And I'm rolling on cords and all kinds of stuff. It's a catastrophe always. Yes, thank you. The Sleuth and Sandals. Don't anybody sign up for this crap. Yeah, please don't. Please don't feed the animals. Right? Please don't. Hey Hughes, how are you? Glad you're here. Friends, never forget, regardless of what your bishop may say, I'm gonna say the M word only because I got enough, can help release tension and brighten your day. It's perfect. It's okay. You can wrestle with Jimmy. You can do all those things, right? I have a teenage, bonus son, and my stepbrother, Damon, this is Larry's oldest son, right? Whenever my son, Zach, he's about to be 24, but when he was a teenager, he was like, and I mean, Damon has a couple boys, like all boys and one girl. And he was like, my advice is just keep conditioner in the bathroom. And I was like, oh no, like you think about your babies, and anyways, I just thought that was funny because, and I was like, why? Anyways, I figured it out. Shampoo would probably burn, but anyways, you're just on time. You didn't miss nothing. But anyways, I'm gonna go try and find that part in the interview where Jesse revealed something that I found very poignant. It's very important to this whole operation. So just bear with me for a second. And if y'all can donate to her, Jodi Hildebrandt. That was such a feel good moment, you know, whenever she was on Mormon Stories podcast. I gotta spell that out anyways. Podcast. And John kind of surprised her with that. She was not expecting to do this interview. She wasn't okay, Jesus. I gotta turn my speakers down or something. But she wasn't expecting anything, you know, and she was just very humbled, you could tell. And I just thought that was a nice surprise for her, you know, because she was not expecting it. And everybody needs help. Everybody needs a community rallying around them, you know, and it was really amazing to see. So let's see here. Looking through the chapters. Okay.
The 8 passengers, I don't want to give Ruby Frankie a pass here, or Kevin, her husband, but all of the most shocking things that have come out,
That's where
whether it's depriving their son of a bed for 6 months, duct taping wrists and ankles,
alarming,
almost the sadistic joy that we see in Ruby with torturing and punishing her children. I don't know if this is unique to Ruby, but we clearly see where this is coming from.
She believes this. This is the thing, that she fully believes in her own bullshit. Yep. She believes that she is inspired by God.
Jodi.
Yeah.
And
so when
that is so freaking scary. That's how I feel about Lori, you know. She believes this. You know. She don't believe she did it. Nobody was murdered here. Just like in Jodi and Ruby's case, they're saying, basically, without saying it, they're saying, you know, nobody was abused here. There's freaking disconnect, okay? It's scary as hell.
Believe, when you have that level of delusions of grandeur, you are so powerful.
When you're told you're a god and a goddess and a king and a queen and a queen and a priest and a priestess, and you're told you're exalted. Yep.
Convincing to people. And when you preface it as I'm doing this because I'm saving their soul,
that made me freaking die inside a little bit. You know, I'm doing you a favor. Oh.
In a system and in a culture that, I mean, she's just playing right into it. She's just playing right into those hands of like, of course I want my child's soul to be saved. Of course. Yeah, no, pornography is the worst thing, is so evil. She believed, if you watch porn, her belief.
I don't think she believed it. I think that she just hated, I mean, maybe, of course, this is just my opinion, my conjecture or whatever, but I believe that she wasn't able to be accepted by her community, by her church, by her family, maybe even. I'm talking about Jodi, not Jesse, but about her sexual orientation. And I really do think that she's she's in the closet, you know, and that she takes it out on everybody around her, because her kind is not accepted here. And this causes problems, you know, when you deny people. And I mean, I'm not a professional and I don't know all the words. And I'm sure I say some really ignorant things, but so please forgive me if I say it in a wrong or ignorant way. But I mean, I've always felt that it is not my place to judge anybody. I mean, really, You know, I don't just look at people and go, you know, I don't just dog on them. These people, they deserve it. They're asking for it. They need it. And it's a way to help point out things and learn things for ourselves of what's right, what's wrong, what's the right way to be and behave, and what you don't do, the do's and don'ts, right? And it can help us to form these awareness, just general awareness. So I don't know. I just never was one, you know, that was like, you can't be gay. That's not right. That's not my place to tell you. Do you. Just, you know, just like with religious beliefs, don't push them on me and I won't push mine on you. And same with everything else, you know, just, I don't know. It's different for everybody, you know? So I don't know. Just treat everybody with compassion, the way you want to be treated, the way you would want to be accepted and respected. You got to give that also, you know?
Because if you watch porn one time, you're an addict. And if you're an addict, which that would make most people of the universe an addict, then you need surgery.
That's messed up. That's some Julie Rowe talking stuff right there. So as you can see, it's not just right here, Julie Rowe and Chad Daybell and Ruby and Jodi. It's not isolated. This is a bigger thing. It's not just David Hamblin and David Levitt, allegedly, and Rosie Stevenson. And there's a lot more people that are not named, right? I started putting some of those up in my Patreon because they are disturbing reports from these victims of the Hamblins / allegedly Levitts, allegedly everything. It's disturbing.
Because you are sick and Satan is working through you. And
Oh
so,
my God.
and I think it also plays into this, like, you are special kind of.
Yes, it does. This whole chosen thing, right? A Mormon is told that they are the saints. They are the Latter-day Saints, and that they have the one true gospel. Okay. Now, if you never go outside of that bubble, then you really do believe that. You really think that everybody outside of the Mormon bubble is a Gentile, and that you are the only one that can deliver them the greater light and knowledge, right? Oh my God. Okay. So, but we have to do this. We have to meet that with love and compassion and understanding that we are not raised in this community, in this bubble. And so we have to meet people, and we can't just force our ideas and our beliefs on other people. We just have to do it by showing, by example. That's a very productive way, constructive way of showing. I can show you better than I can tell you. I can tell you about, you know, my belief system or whatever all day long. But if I exhibit it, then I think that's no words need to be spoken, you know? So sorry, my damn allergies.
Belief that I think a lot of people, like the Mormon church, kind of instills, which is something that I had to like really unlearn, because I held on to this belief for a long time that, like, oh, all of the suffering is for a purpose. All of the suffering is preparing me. All of the suffering is purifying me. It's making me humble. It's making me teachable, like Job. And I think a lot of people justify or rationalize behavior.
When she said Job, it reminded me of Lori Vallow, right? I can't help it. Because she was telling Colby while she was in jail that, and I mean, they changed it in the Netflix document. They said they bring it to Bible, to the Christian Bible instead of the Book of Mormon. And that's another way that the church is let off the hook, so to speak. It's another way they get to distance themselves, because Mormonism is unique to religion, period. There's more of a Islam based. It's resembles Islamic beliefs more than it does Christianity. Okay. And so there's a disconnect there and misunderstandings, right? I accepted it as when they said mainstream, Mormonism is mainstream, I ran with it. I was like, whatever, you know? And then I learned that no, not everybody's mainstream is the same. So, and I mean, it's no judgment against them. It's just, okay, I need to know that that's different. And because I've noticed the way the behaviors were from a lot of people in the beginning when the kids were missing, and how they were saying that nobody was acting Christ-like. And I'm air quoting here, you know, and it was just a lot of confusion for me. You know, I was just like, what? I don't understand. Y'all are like so religious that they're starting a cult allegedly, and there's all this, but I don't see any Christ-like behavior going on at all. You got a lot of people denying, projecting, and the persecution complex. That is a vicious cycle. It's crazy. And I think a lot of the language, if y'all haven't gone to see True Crime Unveiled, she did a very, very thorough deep dive into Uncle Charles's Charles Vallow, into his, you know, the things surrounding his death. I mean, she's been like a dog with a bone with the Chandler Police Department and the Gilbert Police Department and the mental health, whatever you call it, evaluation for Lori. I've never, in my gut intuition tells me that she never went. And if so, there's something hooey going on there, you know, because I don't think anybody in their right mind would have let her out. I don't care how much you lie. Okay. And then I don't trust Melanie Gibb, who is her only live witness, right? I don't trust anything that one says. So, but y'all go check that out. True Crime Unveiled. It's a deep dive. I think Donna posted it on the community wall. And really, I saw a lot, you know, she pulled a lot of things. It's over 2 hours, but I mean, it's a deep dive, and Uncle Charles deserves it too, you know? There's a lot of things that failed him and ultimately failed the rest of them. Had things just, you know, caught traction. And a lot of that is the deceptive language. In my opinion, that is the first line of defense or whatever of deception that, you know, Uncle Charles was trying to communicate all these words that his wife is saying from her religious institution. They have all these different words. The second coming is not the end of the world. Okay. That's the great and dreadful day. In Mormonism, there's 5 different kinds of second comings. Okay. And the whole, I saw Jesus in the temple. That was another phrase that makes to anyone on the outside, it sounds freaking crazy. To anyone on the inside, to her and to her Mormon upbringing, it just means that she didn't literally see Jesus in the church, in the temple. Okay. It's just a phrase. It's just a code phrase. So it's very deceptive. And and so it got her out of the death penalty. And ultimately, that's just how I see it. Because, I mean, then she would have never been looked at as cuckoo like that, you know? It's very muddy and just needs to be some awareness, some clarifications on things. And because they changed the definitions to a lot of things. And I think this is how they isolate their members. It's just another deception, another deceptive practice.
And treatment because of that. And then when you're told, oh, well, now you need this really extreme thing to save you, and because God has a plan for you. And so people like, I think they're way more open to these extreme measures because of that.
Okay, we're going to go to here. We're going to move
soon after I did see like the rest of my family, and we were getting family photos, and they were trying to force me to meet up with Jodi. And I found out because I overheard my mom on the phone. It was crazy. Like I was still living at my grandparents, and I overheard her on the phone.
I'm sorry, it's back here.
And we had Natasha Helfer, licensed marriage and family therapist and sex therapist on Mormon Stories yesterday.
Natasha She was one of the September 6th. She was excommunicated right along there with Abraham Giuliani, who is this doctrinal patriarch, you know, and this belief system. So here you go. But they recommunicated him. They took him back.
She can confirm. Yes, there's probably, when I was getting my PhD in psychology, we actually did a study at Utah State University, and we called it problematic pornography viewing. And the idea was if it's your values to watch less pornography or to masturbate less, then, we can try and develop a treat. And it wasn't me, it was my mentor, a non-LDS mentor at Utah State University, and a colleague. They did a study to see whether some sort of therapeutic approach could be developed to help a client reduce their masturbation and pornography viewing based on values. But there was no way. Go ahead.
That's just habit change. That's the thing.
Yeah, right.
Yes, anything can be compulsive. You can compulsively exercise. You can compulsively eat. You can compulsive behavior is obviously real.
Right.
And sex addiction, masturbation addiction, pornography addiction, no. They just use those terms. They just slap that on there as a way to scare people
and label,
as a way of controlling people.
Label.
But it's not.
Yeah. And by the way, and I treated as a psychologist in training for 6 years, students and members of the community at Utah State University when I was getting my psychology PhD. When they called themselves addicts, they would show up at the counseling center at Utah State. I'm a returned missionary. I'm an addict, and I'm like, an addict? Whoa. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, what are you addicted to? Oh, well, it's porn and masturbation. Oh my gosh. So you must be looking at porn like 8, 9, 10 hours a day and masturbating multiple times a day in public places. And it's like, oh, no. It's like once every 3 or 4 weeks. And I maybe view porn for 10 minutes while but just to kind of drive the point home, the Mormon Church has created addiction and recovery programs all throughout the world in every ward. And whenever a masturbating teen or adult goes to the bishop and endorses even light, moderate masturbation or pornography use, they're immediately referred by the Mormon Church, by Mormon bishops, to addiction and recovery programs that are sponsored by the Mormon Church, where they call themselves addicts.
This is disturbing, right? This is disturbing to me on so many levels. It's like by the church, for the church, or what is that? By the, I don't know, for the people, by the people. Anyways, I messed that up, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's like they are exploiting. If I'm looking at this, like I'm looking at this like, okay, there's this church. Once upon a time, there was this church, and this church exploits, just vaguely, just let's not even say it's this church, whatever makes people sleep at night. You have this church, and then you have this behavior where they shun, they intimidate with fear, the whole fear mongering thing. And then you have the shaming, the guilt tripping, all those things that we kind of read about earlier. For the church, by the church, of the church. Yeah, something like that. Thank you. Yes, using shame, making people think there's something deeply wrong with them and they are flawed, so they need the church, the program, the redemption, the whatever. They need the acceptance is what they're always going to be looking for, as we can truly see, right? I know y'all see it too. It's just like having a narcissistic parent. Look at the church, or look at the organization like that. And you have all these children who are seeking approval, acceptance. They are in this whole competitive upbringing, like everything is a competition because you got to be so perfect. You got to be so perfect, and the pressure that I mean, I can't even, it makes me want to cry because that pressure is enough to make anybody's head spin, honestly. And so I really do, and I've always felt for especially the Mormon women who are subject to this. It bothers me. And you matter. I just want you to know that you matter. Everybody matters. Like, we all matter. As much or as little as we think of ourselves, we all matter, and we all make the world go round. This world needs you, or you wouldn't be here. And we've got to stop putting all the pressure and the expectations on people, whether there are expectations on other people around us, because don't project, right? It can be very toxic, very fast, very much, very extreme, and it's scary. The labeling system is a way to dehumanize. Look at Tylee and JJ; they were zombies. All the victims of Chad and Lori's are zombies, and that's just another way of dehumanizing them and distancing. And so I don't like how this belief system, culture, and I'm sure it's like that with other belief system cultures or whatever, how they're able to label, grade them, basically rate them, grade them on how well. It's all conditional. There's conditional love, and it's not unconditional. And you can clearly see this in these relationships between these parents and these children in all these cases, right? And yes, CPS has to be held accountable. They should have been for Tylee, JJ, Charles. Also, I'm really angry about this agency. I agree with you on that. Oh, I'm sorry, Agnes. You always have a place to go, and it's here. Always. You are needed. You is kind, you is smart, you is important. We all need to hear that. You too, Lamisa Filipino Food Club. And we need to do that to our neighbor, right? We need to tell other people that we run into, that we encounter in other chat rooms, in real life, that they are needed and they are wanted and valued, and loved. And we all want that. It could be the biggest, baddest jerk, murderer, whatever on this planet, but it's only because somebody did not love them. In my opinion, that's just me. I'm not saying it cures it or whatever, but I just think if things would have gone differently for these people who, really don't think they're doing much wrong. Oh, thank you. Love is a 4-letter word. I love you too. We love you too. I think that's important. We all need that. We all need this. I need it too. And we're all worthy of that too. That's another thing it messes with. We don't think we're worthy of being loved. And so if we're not worthy of being loved, then we're incapable of giving love. Really. Because we have to love ourselves in order not to project all of the bad juju on everybody else. Oh, thank you, Mary. Religion isn't culture. Culture is commodities developed in certain regions, including everyone who lives there. See, I'm ignorant. But it's this Mormon culture. Yeah. Because Mormonism is, wow, it's out there. I mean, it was a culture shock for me. Um, it was a culture shock because it's totally different. And I don't know if it's just because of the geographical location. I'm from the South and, that's more up north, but I mean, I don't do the labels. I hate labels. I hate them. I'm like, what does that mean? I feel dumb. Oh, I love the hearts. Thank y'all. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm too broke for therapy. This is my therapy. Let me right? This is my therapy. For real. I have not gone to one. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And I found a lot of love and appreciation and respect and compassion, everything, besides and social connection, the only thing I don't get here is the one-on-one in person relationships, but I have formed so many beautiful friendships and I love you guys. I really genuinely love you guys. And we reciprocate that to one another. And that's what I appreciate the most about all this and this community and what it was built from, tragedy, 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 but it's okay. And I know that we all don't have the same journey. Like we're just crossing right now. We're like ships, passing in the night. And right now our journeys cross paths and we're here just learning and just to, we may not be going to the same, not end result, but you know what I mean? The same direction, but let's enjoy what we have right here and right now while we can. There's nothing wrong with it. I remember I went through this whole assholism, I'll call it. I did. I went through this whole phase where, and I mean, but basically, F the effers for the effers, F you, basically. And I mean, I was like, nope, I'm not going to let anybody close. And I mean, I was like, oh my God, I was having a talk with myself and I was like, oh my God, you're such an a-hole, and it grossed me out. It really did. I was like, I do not like who this person has turned into. And so ever since then, I've rewired my brain, however that works. Yes, it does give us connections. Oh, you're welcome, Janelle. Thank you for yours too. Thank you for yours too, Janelle. We all need one another. And a lot of times our pride, our pride gets in the way. Big time. Mine, I'm included in this, for real. And it's hard to get over because we don't want to get hurt. That's the main thing. We just don't want to be rejected. We don't know how it's going to sound or how people are going to handle it, and you just got to put yourself out there. Who runs the world? Girls. Group hug. Yes. Yes, we're in this together. Yeah, definitely. I love you too, Janelle. And I really did appreciate. I don't know if I had said it in a live stream after you did your interviews, and how I appreciated what you had to say. It really, I had to I'm not gonna say marinate, but I have to reflect on it, and so it helps everyone. And I'm just saying that we all have a story. Every one of us has a story, and nobody, you're like KJ says, you're the only you are ever going to be. And I used to joke about that because I joke about everything, and I'm like, oh, thank God, only one of me. That's all you need. And, but really, I mean, it's true. And you really think about that, really reflect on that. And you're like, oh my God, yeah. Nobody else on this entire planet who's ever lived is like you. And so that's so, in a way, that does make me feel special, and it should make you feel special. Not overly special. We got to keep those things tamed. But I think it's important that we know that. Sometimes we need to hear it. Sometimes we need to stop all this crap, right? And do what we just did. I'm so sorry that no one else, and see, and that's what makes you genuine about this. That's what separates you. In my opinion, that's what separates you from them. They don't see that. And it makes me, I guess I'm angry with them, but I also I still feel, I can't help. It bothers me. If it didn't bother me, I wouldn't care. I care. Therefore, it bothers me. And I just don't understand. I don't want any of them who are too scared or whatever, their ego is in the way or whatever it is that makes them not come forward. That's something that they have to work on. And for a lot of them, they have already exalted themselves, and they already have this specialness, I guess. And unfortunately, that means that I say God humbles them, karma, however you believe, it humbles us because what goes around comes around. I remember there were times when I didn't have anything to eat. Like it was like, oh my God, it was either me or my daughter. And I mean, of course it's my daughter, right? And I remember just being like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. And just always something came through. I'm not saying that, it wasn't because I worked or whatever. I'm just saying it always got here in the right time. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it goes, and I remember whenever I would face a difficult situation, whenever I do face a difficult situation, I'm like, okay, now I kind of tune in a little more and I'm like, all right, what do I need to learn here so I can hurry up and get through this humbleness part so I can get to the other side of this? Because out of everything, this is something I really like to run across in my little memes, and it says something like, out of all the tough times, out of all the times in your life, you have survived 100% of those times, right? Difficult times, those times when you thought, oh my God, this is it. I'm done. That's the end of me or whatever. But we've conquered them all. And I think that right there shows we're going to survive it, What's that? You have a heart. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. That's exactly what it is. We all do. What dates can start to mean September used to be a regular month. Now it will always be. When I first learned Tylee and JJ were missing. Wow. It's so terrible. And but then it's just so tragic. I try to remember the good things though. And how it depends on how you look at things. I like to look at things positively. I can be negative too. I don't like to live there though, because it's very negative, right? And but too much positive, it's a balance. And there's nothing wrong with looking at the half glass full or whatever. There's something wrong with it if you're looking at it like that all the time. There's sometimes I rage, but I just try to see the things that, because of their deaths, the tragic death and sudden departure, that they are no longer living with abuse, with verbal, mental, spiritual, none of that abuse. They are not, they are free. And that I find peace with that. And it's just, I don't wish anything bad on even the ones who do bad. I don't have to live their life. It's not my place. I don't know. I'm just not I don't harbor anger. Never have. Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like she was just misled. Yeah, all of them are. You know, like Chad and Lori, they are totally flipped upside down. That's one of the things I did want to do in my victim impact statement was I remember saying this and I'm like, well, it's not my place to do this, but I wanted to break their shelf. You know, however that would have come out, I don't know. That's something my brother wanted to do too, was, and he did through mom. You know, he said, when she said, Lori, Todd forgives you. That's my brother. And that's his baby boy, you know, that he lost twice. And I mean, that's, if my brother can do that, then I can too. I can appreciate and respect his thoughts. And Mandy was the same way before she died. And that was JJ's mom. And she forgave them. And they're the drug addicts. I just want you to think about that. They're the drug addict, the drug baby's parents, you know, and they're forgiving the murderers. That's profound to me. I'm just saying. You're like, wow, that's a lot of impact. And it's okay if we can't forgive those, but I mean, do it for yourself. It's all about, so it doesn't eat you up like a cancer, right? I think so too, Janelle. I really do. Thank you for saying that. Just we're all on our own little journeys, you know, and I don't know. Again, there's been so many things that were robbed from us also. And that's one of those things is everybody's like so busy healing and trying to find our own way. And in this, you know, it's scary. It's very unsure. And I like sure things, you know. I do like schedules as bad as I am about time and showing up on time because I have no concept of it. I do appreciate structure. I do. I'm ADD. I really do think I'm on the spectrum also, but you know, hey, that's for me to find out whenever I want to. But it does explain a lot, and that I'm worthy of love, of being loved, and I'm worthy of giving it. You know, I'm worthy. And so, I don't know, just a friendly reminder. We all have to just be nicer to ourselves too, right? They deserve respect and all the love in the world. Oh, it is another heartbreaking case. I finally went and subscribed to your channel. Yeah, I did. And I looked up some of the books and stuff, which, I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with it, but it reminds me of the books, right? I did look up books that Jodi has written, and I was like, oh my God, right? And then Hidden True Crime found that core belief, whatever, eternal core, whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, there's just so many people. You have dyslexia too. That's got to be tough. Yeah. I'm getting where I can't see things like on my TV because I read and there's so much of the electronics, right? Damaging the hell out of my eyes. But I do it to myself. But dyslexia, yeah, my aunt Ginger had that too. Has that. Yes, we are. We are all wounded, right? And I've always just taken care of my own wounds, you know? And we're just over here just trying to heal up. And then, but it seems that a lot of us are very empathetic people. And when you're empathetic, you tend to absorb. I do. I mean, that's why I could only go into the courtroom for just like little doses, you know? Or there's just certain people you can be around, some that aren't. They don't all mean to drain you, but some just drain the shit out of you and you're just wiped out. And I mean, I'm just so sensitive to the energy. Like, I know it sounds whack, but whatever. It is what it is. It's the only way I know how to explain it. It's just everybody's energies, you know? And I mean, it's overstimulating. I'm just like, okay, it's just way too much going on right here, right now. But, yeah. Walking wounded, yes. And it is exhausting. Oh my God, you got to be sure to recharge, right? Just know that. it's okay for me to go and recharge my batteries. Some people look at it like I'm being reclusive or withdrawn, but I'm not. I'm just healing back up. I'm just recharging the batteries. It can be very exhausting. Yeah, she did bring it up Saturday in a roundabout way. She got kind of angry. I was kind of proud of her. Lauren. Yeah. She stood her ground. It was I was like, wow, all right. You go, girl. You grow, girl. Right. I think that's what this is. It's all just a learning journey. And I mean, I am nowhere like and nothing like what I was whenever Uncle Charles was murdered. I mean, that snapped me. That shook my core. And then the rest is a blur. And then but it changed me. It made me see it's like everything prioritized itself for me. All my priorities were just lined up for me. And I just had no I don't know. It's just kind of been like that. But everything just kind of was like first, second, third, fourth, fifth. You do it in this order. This is important. Your family is important. You actually love your family. I found that out, when I've always taken them for granted or you know what I mean? Just, I don't know. I just didn't value them. And I do now, which I know it took a lot of deaths and murders and trauma and crazy stuff, but it is what it is. My mom says that a lot too, turns out. So, but we're just going to keep on digging, right? And organite. Okay. Thank you. Help with problems, environmental exposures. That's cool. But we're going to keep on digging. I really didn't have a lot of time and my thoughts, like just my thoughts and everything. My thoughts don't prioritize themselves, unfortunately. I wish they did. But I think that this case is important to talk about. It's definitely needed out in the world of for people to learn. I really do learn so many things by people watching, not stalking or anything, just people watching, observing others, reading the comments, just I learn a lot about myself that way too. And I just think it's neat that we're always looking, we're always searching. That means we're open to change and we're open to finding things in ourselves that maybe I'm not doing, maybe I need to adjust there. That means we're open to that. We're not too egotistical to say, hey, I do that, and admit flaws. There's nothing wrong with having flaws and embracing them, and I'm telling myself that, So I've had stretch marks on my stomach, horrible ones, since I was 21. And I mean, I always look down on myself about that. But really, if you look at it from the other side of the coin, those are my stripes that I earned, that my baby boy came from, and then my daughter. And so whatever, it is what it is what it is, and it's okay. That doesn't make me. It doesn't make you either. So but I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to go ahead and end because it's been a long live again. But we'll just keep looking. I just want to look more into the therapist church angle because it just seems to be a little pattern there. Hopefully not. But, there's only one way to find out, and that's by looking. There's nothing wrong with looking and asking questions and just trying to figure things out, getting to the core of the problem, the bottom, the root. So we can change things. It's not to demean anybody. It's not to make fun or whatever. It's just to learn and improve. That's the only way. Thank you, John. I'm just kidding. He's been right there the whole time. But yeah, I appreciate Mormon Stories Podcast for doing this live stream interview with Jodi Hildebrandt. I need to go grab that link too and put it in the chat. So, I thought I almost closed it out. So y'all can go and watch the thing in its entirety. And then, oh, I didn't even pull. Let me look it up. Somebody had told me the other day that, yeah, there is a part 2 to Adam Steed's on Hidden True Crime, but I couldn't find it earlier, but that's just me. Looking for it. I should have typed in Adam Steed. Sorry. And so, yeah, for sure, we all have a story to tell, but for those of you who are Mormon or ex-Mormon, you guys have a very important, y'all hold a part of this puzzle that you don't even know that you're sitting on. So every one of your experiences, I'm just amazed by. I learned so many things about not just this situation and these horrible atrocities that have happened, but I learned about myself too. And oops. Okay, I'm sorry. It was about to play and I heard it and so I panicked. It's called post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, so here's this one. And this is the Hidden True Crime. And then there's a part 2 for Adam Steed. And just let me know what y'all glean from them, from those interviews, and how Adam Steed said that basically what he corroborated with what oh my gosh, their names, Jessie said in hers, and I mean about the billing and about how these therapists are basically diagnosing these members of the church as having an addiction problem or whatever, but it's not in the DSM-5, so it's not like a diagnosable. You can't bill anybody. I mean, just like the shared psychosis disorder or whatever, that's the folie à deux, madness of two or whatever. That's not in the DSM-5. It is in the 10, but it's not in the 5. So anyways, I just thought that was interesting how it's like the therapists are telling the clients one thing and then billing for another and collecting for another. Like, anyways, I find that very hooey. And hopefully they're not doing that. But, if so, I hope they change. And yeah, that right there. Mormon bishops were using tithing to fund Hildebrandt. So that's where your tithing dollars are going. And it's up to you, all you can do is just hold your leaders accountable, just like you do with your politicians, and yourself. As long as you're being, holding yourself accountable and everything, then you're good. Just know that we're ever changing and that we can always do a attitude adjustment and an adjustment with ourselves and align ourselves with a better way of thinking and being and behaving, Yeah, I'm seeing similar, traits and patterns, very questionable actions. Yes, I am too. And that's what I'm alarmed about. But obviously I didn't get to that today, but we still learned a lot. And seeing the house those children escaped from chilled me. Yes. Did you actually go see pictures of it? I have some. I just need to upload them so I can share them, because some people are like asking about the panic room or whatever. And I mean, whatever, I don't know. We'll find out more as the case progresses and everything. Just for now, I'm just trying to like, oh, I can only imagine, but that could just be my, I don't want to get ahead of myself, I don't want a future trip. That's what anxiety is, future tripping. Yeah. And there's so many people that are homeless, right? There's nothing wrong with, look, when I see somebody that not even so much asking for money. Sometimes people, I used to go dumpster diving. There you go. There you go. I'm not too proud. They throw a lot of good stuff away. Bed Bath & Beyond, brand new shark. I mean, just a waste. It's a waste. Okay. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't stand waste. When we had those hurricanes and everything, I was like, why are we buying wood? Why aren't we just stripping all the damn wood that's here, taking the nails out and just reusing it? What the hell? That don't make sense to me. But anyways, but there would be somebody in another area or whatever, and they'd be digging for food. And so just not expecting anything. You just go hand them $10. Who cares what they spend it on? That's not up to you. That's up to them. You did the right thing. That's all that counts. That's it. You cannot, we have no control over how another person is. Only how we respond and how we are and how we present ourselves to other people. That's it. So I agree with that. One time there was this homeless couple, and we came home because I had stuff in my shop from all the places where we would find all these things, sleeping bags and just stuff, right? Brand new. And I remember Jason was going to go bring them the whatever we packed up for them. And so I had notebooks and little anyways, I was packing so much stuff, and Jason was like, Krisha, they have to move in a hurry. If the cops do come, they have to pick up and go. So, he was like, babe, that's enough. They're not gonna be able to carry all that, and I was just like, well, I just want them to be, she's gonna need this, he's gonna need that. And then I get it though. I just had to scale it back a little bit. It just, you want to help, so there's nothing wrong with humility and humanity. But anyways, I appreciate you guys, and love always wins. You guys are proof of this. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. And justice for Ruby, Frankie's kids, and all the other kids that we don't know about. That's what we're here for. Love